All right, so imagine this. You walk into your boss's office, slam your fist on the table, and demand a massive raise. Bold move, right? But then, right after, you absolutely fumble the easiest task in your job. Like, spectacularly fail. That's exactly what Angel Reese just did. And it might be the funniest self-sabotage we've seen in sports all year. She went on her podcast, made a huge demand for WNBA players to get paid millions, even hinted at a boycott if they didn't. And then, she stepped onto the court and put on a performance that had fans wondering if she was secretly trying to take down the backboard instead of make a shot. We're talking bricks for days. It was so bad, even her own supporters had to do a double take. Now, here's the thing. This isn't just about one bad game. This moment perfectly sums up everything wrong with certain athletes demanding superstar money before proving they're superstars. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark is out here actually breaking records, selling out arenas, and oh yeah, making her shots. So what happens when an athlete talks a big game, but their actual game is, well, this? Stick around, because this might be one of the most unintentionally hilarious moments in WNBA history. Let's break it down. Alright, so let's rewind a bit and break down exactly what Angel Reese said, because trust me, this wasn't just a casual we should get paid more type of comment. No. This was a full-blown pay us or we're out kind of situation. It all started on her podcast, Unapologetically Angel, where she sat down with Dijonai Carrington and delivered what might be the most over-the-top ultimatum in WNBA history. She didn't just suggest that WNBA salaries should be higher, she straight up hinted at a boycott if players don't start seeing bigger paychecks. I'm hearing, if they don't give us what we want, we're sitting out. Yep, sitting out. A league-wide strike. And she wasn't saying this as some kind of passing thought. She doubled down on social media, making sure everyone knew she was dead serious. In a viral TikTok, she complained about how her WNBA salary doesn't even cover one of my bills, and then casually dropped that she pays $8,000 a month in rent, which, by the way, is more than her entire yearly WNBA salary. Let's just pause there for a second. $8,000 a month. At that point, it's not the WNBA that's the problem. It's called budgeting. And the internet? Oh, the internet loved this. People immediately started pulling receipts, pointing out that Reese didn't even know her own salary when she first entered the league. She once admitted on a podcast that she had no clue what she was making in the WNBA because she was making so much from NIL deals in college that it didn't even matter. But now, suddenly, it's an issue? Here's where things get even funnier. Her main complaint? That incoming WNBA rookies in the next few years will be making more money than she does now. The ones coming in this year will still be on the rookie contract, but the ones after that, they're probably going to be making more than us. Yeah, Angel. That's how contracts work. This isn't some injustice. It's just basic sports economics. She signed a 4-year rookie deal worth $325,000, which means she's locked into those numbers until her contract is up. That's, literally how every league operates. Imagine if every second-year NBA player started demanding a raise just because the salary cap went up. It doesn't work like that. And let's not forget, the WNBA is not the NBA. The league lost over $40 million last season. They're barely keeping their financials together, and yet Reese is out here acting like they have the budget to start handing out million-dollar contracts. So let's get this straight. She doesn't know her own salary. She admits her WNBA paycheck didn't matter to her before. She spends way more than she makes, and she thinks a rookie CBA change should apply to her retroactive. Make it make sense. But here's the real kicker. After dropping all these demands and setting the stage for a massive pay dispute, she went out and played one of the worst games of her career. Talk about horrible timing, because if you're gonna demand superstar money, you better show up like a superstar. Instead, what happened next might go down as one of the biggest unintentional comedy moments in WNBA history. And trust me, you're gonna wanna see this. Alright, so picture this. You just made the biggest salary demand of your career. You basically tell the league, pay me millions or we're sitting out. The pressure is on. It's time to step up, dominate, and prove you're worth every penny, right? But instead of a superstar performance, what do we get? A bricklaying masterclass. I'm talking about one of the worst shooting performances you'll see from a professional basketball player. This wasn't just a bad game. This was a full-on demolition job on the backboard. If missed layups were a form of art, Angel Reese just painted the Mona Lisa of bricking shots. Let's break down the numbers real quick because, honestly, they speak for themselves. 5 for 13 from the field. That's barely 39% shooting. For a forward, someone who takes most of her shots right at the rim. For context, that's the kind of shooting percentage that gets middle school players benched, let alone a supposed WNBA star demanding millions. And the worst part? One of those shots didn't just miss. It smacked the bottom of the backboard. That's right, Not the rim, not even the top of the backboard. She hit the bottom, like the ball was trying to escape the gym. At one point, it actually looked like her teammates stopped passing to her. Maybe out of secondhand embarrassment? Because how do you keep feeding someone the ball when they're out here treating layups like trick shots? The timing couldn't have been worse for her argument, or better for anyone who enjoys comedy. Of course, the internet had a field day with this. The missed layup montage went viral almost immediately, and fans didn't hold back. Pay her millions in construction because she's laying bricks all night. Angel Reese is out here making layups look harder than rocket science. And my personal favorite, at this point, the backboard needs a restraining order. I mean, it's not like this was one bad shot. No. It was an entire reel of bloopers, and the worst part is these were wide open shots. We're talking point-blank layups. No defense, no contest, and yet the ball was bouncing around, like it was actively avoiding the net. Here's the thing. If you're going to demand superstar money, you'd better deliver a superstar performance. But instead of making a statement on the court, Reese turned into the WNBA's unintentional comedy act. Meanwhile, you've got players like Caitlin Clark actually breaking records, filling stadiums, and making their shots. Clark isn't out here threatening a boycott. She's out here proving why people are paying to watch her play. That's the difference. Because when your main argument is, I deserve more money, the absolute worst thing you can do is go out and have a performance that makes people wonder if you even belong in the league. And trust me, this isn't just some Twitter slander. The numbers tell the whole story. Stick around, because things get even worse when you see how Angel Reese's viewership numbers compare to the real stars of the WNBA. Let's talk about that next. Alright, so let's take a step back for a second. Let's say Angel Reese didn't have one of the worst shooting nights in WNBA history. Let's say she actually played well. Even then, this would still be a terrible PR move. Why? Because when you're demanding millions from a league that's struggling financially, while simultaneously admitting you don't even know your own salary, you're setting yourself up for disaster. But the fact that she followed it up with a statistical meltdown on the court, that just turned this whole thing into a masterclass in self-sabotage. Let's get real. The WNBA is not the NBA. It's not sitting on billion-dollar TV deals or overflowing with sponsorship revenue. In fact, the league lost over $40 million last season and is still being subsidized by the NBA just to keep operating. That's right. The WNBA is not profitable, yet Angel Reese is out here acting like she's in the same position as an NBA superstar, demanding bigger contracts from a league that literally doesn't have the money to give her. Think about this. LeBron, James, Steph Curry, and Giannis Antetokounmpo aren't demanding more money because they know the NBA can afford it. Meanwhile, the WNBA is out here bleeding cash, and Reese thinks they can magically start handing out million-dollar contracts? Make it make sense. And let's not forget, the league is already increasing salaries in the next collective bargaining agreement, CBA. But Reese's frustration isn't that the WNBA isn't paying players more in the future. It's that she personally isn't getting more right now. And that brings us to the real problem. Here's the part that really makes this a PR nightmare. If the WNBA were to start handing out million-dollar contracts, who do you think would get paid first? I'll give you a hint. It's not Angel Reese. It's Caitlin Clark. While Reese is complaining about money, Clark is actively generating it. Clark's games sold out. Clark's jersey, best-selling WNBA jersey ever. Clark's effect on ratings, record-breaking. Meanwhile, when Reese plays without Clark on the other side, NBA viewership plummets. A perfect example, Clark's first WNBA game shattered records with 2.1 million viewers. A few days later, Reese played a game, and the ratings barely cracked $100,000. Let that sink in. The WNBA is making more money than ever, but it's because of one player, and that player isn't Angel Reese. This is the biggest PR nightmare possible, because it makes Reese look completely delusional about her own impact. She's acting like she's the reason the league is booming, but the numbers prove people aren't tuning in for her. They're tuning in for Clark. And the worst thing you can do in a negotiation? Overestimate your leverage. Reese is playing this like she's the WNBA's biggest star, but the reality is, if she actually did sit out, would the league even notice? Because, let's be honest, if Caitlin Clark sits out, that's a crisis for the WNBA. If Angel Reese sits out, that's just one less player missing layups. And that's why this entire thing is an absolute PR disaster. Instead of proving she deserves a bigger contract, she just proved that she's nowhere near the reason why people are watching. And the numbers? Oh, they really don't lie. Next up, let's talk about what happened when the internet got their hands on these clips. Because trust me, the reactions were absolutely brutal. Look, if there's one thing we can all agree on, it's that the internet is undefeated when it comes to roasting bad performances. And Angel Reese just handed them a gold mine. The moment clips of her missed layups, botched finishes, and backboard abuse hit social media, it was open season. Twitter, or X, if anyone actually calls it that, was flooded with memes. TikTok had a brick montage running on loop, and fans weren't holding back. This wasn't just a bad game. It became a viral event. You know it's bad when even your own supporters start making jokes. Here are just a few of the brutal takes that started circulating. Pay her millions, but make it in Home Depot gift cards because she's laying bricks like crazy. Angel Reese just set the WNBA record for most missed layups in a game. Who's cutting the highlight reel? At this point, the backboard needs to file a workplace harassment claim. And then, of course, there were the sarcastic "pay her" tweets, where fans would attach a clip of her missing an uncontested layup and write, "This is what a $1 million player looks like." Brutal. But honestly, hilarious. The worst part? It wasn't just one or two bad shots. This was an entire reel of missed layups. What makes this even funnier is the sheer timing of it all. Think about it. She made huge salary demands. She went viral complaining about her paycheck. She then immediately played one of the worst games of her career. It's like she wrote the script for the internet to clown her. And the worst part? It overshadowed everything else. Instead of talking about her potential, or even debating whether WNBA salaries should increase, people were only talking about her horrendous shooting night. She had a chance to back up her words and prove she was worth more money. Instead, she turned herself into a meme. At this point, even her biggest supporters have to be cringing. So now the question is, does Angel Reese learn from this, or does she double down? Because right now, the only thing that actually came from her bold salary demand is a viral blooper reel and a social media roasting session that will probably haunt her forever. But here's the real issue. This wasn't just a one-time bad game. Her numbers haven't exactly been great all season. And when you compare those numbers to someone like Caitlin Clark, it only gets worse. So at the end of the day, Angel Reese shot her shot. But instead of securing the bag, she ended up securing a viral blooper reel and a whole lot of backlash. She wants superstar money, but superstars deliver on the court. And right now, the only thing she's delivering is missed layups and internet memes. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark is actually driving revenue, breaking records, and making the WNBA money without demanding anything. So the question is, does Angel Reese actually deserve a bigger paycheck, or is she overestimating her impact on the league? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss out on the next Big Sports Breakdown. See you in the next one.